Yes, graduates, welcome to Hard Talk Podcast with HTK. Fasten your seatbelts. Hey users and subscribers, welcome back to another episode of Hard Talk with HTK. I have given the Adriana case a rest so that I could let things play out in social media. Yeah, I needed to see certain things play out. And indeed, they certainly did. So I am going to update you quick and fast and to the point. As usual, no rambling as to what it is that took place over a period of days with the Adriana Young case. First of all, this alleged friend of Sir Brian has come forward to basically accuse Sir Brian of using the child as a sacrifice and accepting money instead of searching for justice for his child. Now, people, I don't know this man. Those of you in the comments, if you know him, please drop your comments below. But you see what I'm saying when it comes to the confusion around this case and the constant distractions? It is a real thing. And this is why I am wondering why it is that social media is getting redirected. Instead of focusing on the girl, all of a sudden is bangarang after bangarang after bangarang with all kinds of other distractions coming along. It isn't going to do the family any good. But anyway, I want you to listen to his video and, give me your opinion about this man and what he's saying. I genuinely think that this is an individual who is preoccupied by the amount of financial support and is clearly a wolf in sheep's clothing. But, these are the kind of things that are happening around this family, and the amount of fight that they are getting is not just from within, but the system itself. It's a lot to bear. Anyway, let's listen to the video.
Who going in jail?
Sir Brian going to jail.
Why?
You know why he collect the people their money?
What do you mean he collect the people their money?
Sacrifice money, Sir Brian.
So it's not justice. You get it. There is the justice so he take. There is what he accept. Cash.
Cash. That's the mistake he make.
Shouldn't take who money as a dean.
They money.
Them pay. They pay.
Yeah.
I thought it's as a dean sponsoring the.
Try to help. But they fuck around the bosses.
So he get justice. He now get jail for the man. Nobody who's supposed to get jail now go get jail. They,
So what's up?
so he searched the place when them give you the okay to search the place. And he know his daughter was in there.
Yeah.
And he ain't gonna search the place. Watch, it's me. Are you talking to? Yeah, you got next to bread, you want bread, but is you talking though?
All right, enough of that rubbish. Let's move on to some serious matters. So, one day ago, we saw a post flag up on Facebook. And this is from the aunt of Adriana Young. So the post reads, "My sister went to Leonora police station to make a report and the police there were giving her a hard time. It is enough to see officers like Leroy Smith, who were involved in my niece's murder, still working and walking free and carrying on with their lives as if nothing has happened without having to have his colleagues at Leonora trying to give my sister a hard time. When will this dockery end?" Right? Now, it was later released that the police have told Adriana's family that they need to go to court for the autopsy investigation reports, right? They basically would not cooperate with the lawyer outside of a court order. Now, this has caused a major uproar because even having combed the internet to look through Guyanese police policies, I have not seen anything that says that autopsies will be withheld after or during a criminal investigation without a court document. It seems as if the Guyana police force are placing obstacles in the way of this family to stop them from investigating independently or having the legal documents necessary to hold them to account. Now, it is alleged that Dexter Todd, who is the lead attorney for the family of the 11-year-old Young, has issued a letter to the Guyanese police force requesting details of the investigation and a copy of the final autopsy report. Dr. Todd's exact words were that in response to his letter, the GPF stated they will not cooperate outside of a court order. Now, what is key to this is the fact that in this letter, questions were sent to the police force that were formulated by the United States forensic pathologist, Dr. Carol Terry. So in conducting the second autopsy, in order for her to form a firm conclusion with her second autopsy results, she needed those questions answered by the GPF. By withholding this autopsy report, the actual second autopsy report is being delayed. The pathologist in America cannot proceed with her report unless she receives this information from the police. Dr. Terry had in fact submitted a 6-page document containing over 100 detailed questions related to the police investigation, all of which needed to be answered in order for the second autopsy report to be finalized. And people, let me tell you, so the quotes here are very poignant because remember, we had done a previous video where we questioned the markings on Adriana's body, saying they were too symmetrical, too patterned to be random. So when we heard the recording of the hotel owner talking about the fact that he threw, his worker threw chlorine in the pool, and that's probably where the markings came from, it just did not add up. So essentially, one of the things that Dr. Terry is questioning is the tile pattern, because there are marks on Adriana's foot that she, Dr. Terry, wants to see whether those are consistent with a tile pattern that's in the pool or elsewhere. Todd went on to state that every mark on the body of the child must be accounted for, and that is what this pathologist is attempting to do. Dr. Terry also needs to access the post-mortem examination PME report that was completed on the 28th of April by the team of international pathologists. So she is needing exactly what it is that this team, which includes Dr. Shubakar, Cara Paul from Barbados, Dr. Gary Collins, Chief Medical Examiner of Delaware in the United States, and Dr. Glenn Rudner of Mount Sinai Hospital. She's wanting all of the information that this team put together where they concluded that the child's death was as a result of drowning. So people, if the police putting these stumbling blocks in the way and basically trying to put it through the court system, how long does this request take to actually get authorized is the question. Why put in these obstacles and these problems in the way of moving this ahead to another autopsy report that will further reaffirm what it is that they're claiming? Remember, they're saying that they did it well, and at the end of the day, there was no need for a second autopsy. The second doctor, the second pathologist, which is Dr. Terry, made it clear that yes, it was done well in terms of she can see they have meticulously gone through the body, but she needs to see the findings to understand how they came up with this, because the circumstances around the death of the child are suspicious. And she wants to account for everything. Why would they stop that if it is that their conclusions, their findings were legitimate and that the report was above board? Why would you stop this process? How is it that a letter from a lawyer who is following a legal procedure means that they have to go through to the court instead? Well, there has been a further commentary from a police officer, and I found this article very interesting. So while it is that the police are telling Adriana's family that it's not standard practice to disclose the autopsy or investigation reports, a former officer has stated it's the first time that he is hearing of such a rule. According to the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Paul Slow, he says that he has never heard of such a practice by the GPF. His exact quote is, "I have never had that experience during my tenure. I really can't give a comment on whether it is a usual practice," he said. Now, surely when it comes to a criminal investigation and the fact that Dr. Terry was approved for a second autopsy and the actual body flown out to the United States to conduct such a thorough re-examination, surely there should be open avenues of communication between pathologists? Why do we now have the courts stepping in the middle of this process when the second autopsy is clearly another part of the investigation procedure? Why is it that we're having this blockage? So, when I saw this, I said to myself, no man, this is yet another deliberate stumbling block placed in the way of this family. Now, as you are already aware, Mark Anthony Benschop, he had an interview with the mother and the relatives of Adriana Young. I have pulled out the most significant parts of this interview. I would like you to listen to it, and we're going to break it down bit by bit. But before we go into that, people, I want to quickly address this whole situation with Darren Wade, the lawyer. So Darren Wade made a statement on his Facebook about 4 days ago that we're going to read it through. And this is in response to the fiery Angie's comments on the recent live that was held by Benschop himself. Now, it's interesting because I am thinking to myself that this whole thing can be avoided. And there seems to be either miscommunication or perhaps what Angie and the family are picking up is that other things may have taken place that perhaps this Darren Wade doesn't know anything about. Because the way he's presenting himself as though he has done things with integrity, and even the comments that were underneath, people who were vouching for his character, really makes me question as to whether or not this could have been something that would have been avoided by the family and this man. I am not defending Darren Wade, but I am going based on the evidence I'm seeing, the reactions of the public, and I'm also looking at the possibility that information can easily be withheld, manipulated, and that people in between can also be silenced in a way by other authorities. So it is not impossible to think that the police may have interfered with the communication between Dr. Gary Collins and Wade himself. It could be that information was deliberately hidden and that the chief medical examiner could have also felt threatened while he was going through the autopsy. So take a look at this post. So the post says, clarifying Dr. Collins' engagement and the autopsy report. For the record, based on Dr. Collins' CV when he attended UWI, I was in nursery and primary school. I never attended UWI myself. Therefore, I find it disturbing when I keep hearing on Mark Benschop's show that I went to UWI with Dr. Collins and that we were close friends, which is far from the truth. Mr. Nigel Hughes initially recommended Dr. Alfredo Walker. After speaking with Dr. Walker and when he could not make it to Guyana, Mr. Walker then recommended Dr. Collins. Before Dr. Collins was retained, his CV was shared with the family and the aunt confirmed approval for his services. After receiving Dr. Collins' CV, I was satisfied he was qualified for the job and as a result he was retained. More importantly, it is for the lawyer to determine which specialist should be brought into the case. Another issue I have heard concerns the autopsy report and my alleged possession of it without disclosing it. For the record, the autopsy report is a government document and I have no control over its disclosure. Both of Dr. Collins' report were sent to the police, and I also sent his final report to Dexter Todd. Dr. Collins also indicated that he is willing to share information with Dr. Terry, who conducted the second autopsy, and I relayed this to Dexter Todd. All right. Now, just for the sake of analysis, wasn't there an amount of money paid via the family that was taken up from collections to the amount of $6,000? Wasn't that paid directly to Darren Wade for the purpose of hiring a pathologist? That is one of the questions I'm going to ask, right? Therefore, if they are paying their money for a particular professional and one is not available, and they have to then hire another one. Surely it is not just the role of the lawyer to determine which specialist should be brought into the case. It has to be a shared responsibility, a shared agreement, because it is the family's money and not the lawyer's money, and it's not the government's money that is being used to hire this individual. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, people in the comments were claiming that this pathologist was hired via the president of Guyana, and it's the president of Guyana who paid for all of these people to come. I would like some clarity given on that, because that's really not very clear to me who paid for these individuals, including Dr. Collins, to come to do the first autopsy report. Right? Something just, it just sounds a little bit off. In addition, when he's claiming that the autopsy report is a government document, don't you as a lawyer have any kind of jurisdiction to access government documents? Because most lawyers are able to get documents through court systems easily when they're dealing with a case. It's about following through whatever the application process is and getting it done. So how is it that this lawyer is unaware of how to access such a government document? Why was it not presented by Darren Wade, who is supposed to be a legal expert, to the family and say, listen, this is the process to get this autopsy. We do need to go through the courts. Therefore, we will need to complete these documents, blah, blah, blah. It may cost you a fine, etc. How is it that the family are learning of this information via the police? It just sounds very strange to me. But anyway, let me stop rambling about this and let's get into the key parts of the interview that took place on Ben's Chop's show.
There is honestly, I don't have a word to describe how I'm feeling on behalf of that, I should first say. And I saw this thing concerning Jennifer Ali today with the ERC. So I was told to go make a report before I get back to that at the Leonora police station. So when I went there, I was told to ask for Miss Little. Well, I go in. Well, before I go in, there was this nice young police officer. He took me to the room. To my surprise, guess who was sitting in that room that I was supposed to go to make a report? Leroy Smith, the officer with the wet foot, right? That placed my child, that assisted in placing my child's body in that pool, right? He was in there, sitting at his desk, doing whatever paperwork. And then Miss Little realized that I saw him, so she had a whole lot of attitude, like, who told you to come to this station? You should have gone to Parika Police Station. And what? Where are you living, and where is the person living, and when did this happen, and all these sort of stupid things, right? So for me, when they bring out that report that we gotta take them to court, all of them is a bundle of crap.
What the hell I hear in here at all? So you're trying to tell me that the officers who were involved in the crime scene, the officers who has suspicion against them, are active in duty? So you're trying to tell me that these officers were not suspended? Or is it that the Guyanese police force has put them on desk duty and taken them off the front line? Don't you think that that would have been a worthy statement to put across to the public, to say that, listen, these are the steps as the police force that we are taking to ensure that the investigation is done with transparency? Why would they still be so visible that they're actually interacting or in the same space of the public, knowing that there are criminal allegations against them? So this talk about an inquest, this talk about future criminal investigations is still up in the air. Are you not realizing that this is what is happening? It's clear that even though Dr. Terry made that recommendation, it's fallen on deaf ears. It's also clear that, the request of the ambassador has fallen on deaf ears. The president is convinced he has done everything that is necessary. Therefore, no resources are being allocated to ensure that a further investigation is taking place. It's playing out right in front of your face.
But I did not make the report because she said and when she came out to me, she said I could make the report there, but they're going to transfer it to Puerto Rico Police Station, to the CID there. And I just told her, I said, I know the CID at Puerto Rico Police Station, but to be honest, I come out and I came home. I didn't go to Puerto Rico Police Station because either way, all them out in me head. All them out in me head when I start to talk about them, because they're trying to make this thing that, like, fighting for justice for me 11-year-old child is a big issue. It's a problem, like, oh, the family want money. Oh, the family this. Oh, the family that. I did not ask these people to kill my child. I did not ask these people to do the evil and the wicked things that they do to my child. No. It's political. It's this. It's that. I don't vote. I never vote. I don't know how an 11-year-old, somebody murdering an 11-year-old becomes political and all these ignorance when they're going out with. I tell you, a 1,000 things went running through me head. I stand up and I look at it. Like, she went talking to me for asking me these things, and I looking at it with a whole lot of things going through me head. And nothing good. To know that these are people that involved. And then they're sitting down doing their work. So if I in me head, I said, if he sit down there, then Amanda somewhere else walking too. Everybody who involved, they're walking, but they got them in places where you can't see them, because I started to show them and expect me would go to Lenore Police Station today to give a report on that matter. So he there doing this, he there inside, he doing work inside. So you can't really see where he there, what he doing. So he there inside. Right? And just like how they got the inside, I'm sure they got it by Amanda somewhere inside doing something too. They make no sense. She's supposed to write her baby scale there. That make no sense, because with all that she do, with all the names who she labeled me child, then she even went on to say she know that is a murder victim. I want to know she know though, because she could have proudly said, oh, she had a lot going on for she, right? And every day watching all them things, and it's sending me crazy, but I just trying for, hold it up. Every day I trying for hold it up. With everything that everybody doing and talking, them and even know the half of why swallowing and trying to keep it cool. But at the end of the day, I feel if people went in my position, they would have do things different. And they still didn't realize, or they still didn't expect. I shouldn't say that they may realize, they may expect that my family would have gotten this kind of support, would have gotten people, or I got family, I even if I got a family member that would reach out to get to the bottom of this. They tell themselves that when they don't do what they do, it's well done, it can be a next cover up. Nobody can get a hold of nothing, nobody can say nothing. Because nobody didn't even come out bashing Wade. Take it for example, nobody didn't come out bashing him. You come as a liar, representing this family of an 11-year-old that get murdered. Right? Everybody looking for justice. So what you got for hide if everybody looking for justice? And you got a lot for hide, and then you come out calling people, talking this and talking that. And whoever is talking this and talking on behalf of you, nobody bashing you. All we want is the truth. All we want is answers, and we want the truth concerning me child to know what happened. Because if you know what happened, and we know you know what happened, because I got family member for me that call Collins, that talk to Collins. Right? Auntie Roxanne on his phone, she was the first woman to talk to Collins. There's me family. Then Miss Camille, cousin Camille take over.
So it's clear that this Ali person, Madame Racist Jennifer Ali, has got connections. You know, you've gone in to make a report. It's a shame that you didn't actually push forth with this. But you know what I'm going to say? All of this is draining in itself. You went in and you saw the officer. So that in itself knocked the wind out of you. When you're seeing the people who were present on the scene simply going about their day-to-day duties like nothing has happened. Then everything else pales into comparison. It pales. It's not important anymore. So I do not blame her for letting it go. You understand? That is going to be yet another case where not much comes out of it, because racism is supposed to be illegal. It's supposed to be illegal as an injustice against human rights when it comes to equality. There should be no debate about it. There's far too much evidence on this woman's page for there to be a conversation being had. She should have been slapped with a charge, right? No, I don't know how things run in Guyana, but certainly here in the UK, you try that kind of crap and you get caught red-handed with evidence on your page. You are about to face the courts. You are about to get a consequence. Now go just go so. So yes, she let it go, and she was more concerned about what was going on in that station. And, that would have brought trauma with it to say, listen, I'm not going to get justice here. Let me just go about my business. Now, this situation with Collins, oh my God, it's so complicated, guys. It's so draining. Even listening to the family, I can imagine how exhausted they feel going around in a circle about this. And it's good that they have got that strong family member, Angie, who is willing to put herself forward as a advocate and as a mediator in this situation, because that mother must be so emotionally torn and weary to have to deal with these battles all the time. So Angie is going to speak now. Let's listen to what she has to say.
First of all, good night. Thank you for having us. Before I get to that news report, I firstly must say, we, the family of Adriana Young, we're looking, we would like Darren Wade. I'm coming to the attorney because everything starts with the attorney, right? We would like Darren Wade to come out and speak the truth. We would like Darren Wade to say exactly what had happened, because Dr. Collins was fearful for his life while he was in Guyana. Yes, these were things that were told to me directly by Dr. Collins.
Wow.
Because there are things to be revealed that are being concealed, and instead the entire state, including the police force and the government and everybody, are after the family to make it appear as that they have done something wrong, when in fact all the Young family, all we're looking for is justice for Adriana, right? What we're looking for from Darren Wade is transparency. What the family want is to ensure that we protected not only every other young children in Guyana, but especially Adriana, two sibling. And that entire life of all young children in Guyana, to protect them, thousands of children in Guyana, from what happening, especially children under the PPP government. Because look what they're doing right now to an 11-year-old family. This government is operating as though as if Adriana was a big criminal and now somebody murdered she back. So you know what? Forget it. Our life must just go down the drain just like that. No, things don't work so. And I would like the public to tell me, if you retain an attorney to work on your case, your behalf, you understand? How is it possible that the autopsy report given to the government instead of the attorney? Because it was given to the attorney. Now, the reason why it ended up in the government hand is because of the fact the attorney is no longer representing this family. So he take things under his skin. He is that petty. But the mistake that Darren Wade made, Darren Wade had an opportunity for his name to be listed like Johnny Cochran or Ben Crump, because this is not just no ordinary case. But instead, Darren Wade is going around making it look like as though as if he is the one with the problem. Like he wants people to just pity him. Let me break it down why. I was told by Dr. Collins, because he was shocked. Let me make this clear. Dr. Collins was in shock when he heard from me that the family did not receive the autopsy report. I did went on to ask him if he would like to speak to the attorney, Dr. Todd, so that he could, listen to Dr. Todd instead of me. Because I still, in my mind, still baffled why
that thing in this wire.
Why Collins only had wanted to talk to me, right? However, Collins said to me to let the family know the autopsy report that they should receive has all three pathologists' signature on it, and it was signed with a special ink, a black ink pen. However, I had received an autopsy report from Amicia cousin Roxanne. I received that autopsy report from her. I had sent that to Ailey. On that autopsy report, it is only Collins' name on it. So I'm saying all of that to say the reason why the government wanted the family to go to court for this autopsy report. Remember, you're going to court, whatever report you're fighting for, the report that you will getting, that's not the report. That's a redacted report. That's a report that was not given by all three of the pathologists, was not signed by all three of the pathologists. So when they go to court and they issue that and they give that to the family, you can't fight for nothing more, right? Because you take me to court, you went to court, you fight, you got an autopsy report. What more autopsy report you're looking for? So that autopsy report is already dead in the water, right?
You see, Angie is very, very smart indeed. She's picked it up. The mere fact that there were 3 professionals that were hired to do this case, to do this autopsy, all 3 signatures do need to be on the autopsy report. And the fact that only 1 signature is being used means that this is the weak link. Yes. In fact, this is the pathologist whom they have chosen to use in order to put together what they want rather than the truth. That is evident, because why would they not receive the full report with all 3 pathologists' names signed off on it? And there are strange circumstances around Dr. Collins. He himself was shocked that they did not receive the autopsy report. How can you be shocked when you would have passed this information on via this Darren Wade? Why is it that the autopsy report did not get to the family if you were communicating with the lawyer and you were guaranteed that it was passed on? Who did you give it to? And Darren Wade, as the attorney, should have received a copy that he would have handed over to the family members. So why is it now we're hearing from Darren that the autopsy is a government document and they have to go via the court? Something isn't quite right with how they are putting this together. Why is it that the other 2 pathologists are being excluded from the autopsy report that is now available? She's right. Whatever it is that she's going to end up with is going to be an edited document. It's going to only represent the perspectives of one of the pathologists, and it's going to be redacted, meaning that information will be hidden or taken out of the report that includes whatever it is the input of the other 2 pathologists were.
I gonna say this: the government wasn't saying that before. Darren Wade went on a show the other night. When we went on your show Wednesday, Darren went on the next show Thursday, and he said the autopsy report, it is not nobody own, it is the government own. It came out of his mouth. My problem with Darren Wade is his credibility and everything went on the line on the 28th of April 2025. If it's from 6 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock the night, he know, I know, Collins know, and God know what happened. All we need is the truth. When I made contact with Collins the first time, he gave me an earful. I reported to somebody. They said, okay, let's keep probing him. We will get the truth. He said to me, he has to speak to a lawyer and he'll give me some information. When Amicia get to this country, I send her a message with Collins' number and all the details. I said, get somebody to take you to Collins' office of Amicia.
Yes.
When Collins said, he told me he took 2 days off from his job with an emergency. My words to him was, you started on the right foot because you wanted a scan, you wanted everything that was right. Why did you leave this country to go to Guyana and pronounce on something that you know it was wrong? He said he was up under pressure and he had to do what he did. So Darren Wade, we back to Darren Wade again. He is the person that put his credibility and everything on the line because all he had to do was the right thing. That's all we asking, the right thing. We cannot change the right, but we could change the wrong. You don't have to change the truth, you know. All the lies you have to change. And this is a whole set of lies just coming down the sleeve. And we need the right thing to come out now. The court, the government say you have to go to court. But when we go to court, what we would receive? Something that they doctored already?
In a situation like this, you ain't feeling safe. Because he came to say that he is going to leave no stone unturned. But the matter don't close in his hand. He got the report or whatever. And he closed the case. So probably that is the stone that he never left unturned on his behalf. Yeah, I don't know what was all those meetings about, but I could recall the same when they did mention that when Wade actually said that the police need to have a meeting with the pathologist, with Collins. Indeed, when he and Collins came back, Wade was sweating. Wade was sweating.
And that's what I want Wade to say to the public. What was said that caused him to sweat.
I don't know what was the meeting about, but he was sweating.
I want to say this. And I'm not putting my beliefs there. I'm saying this directly. The cover-up actually started during the meeting because Amicia can bear witness. There were several meetings. Some of it, Amicia, they weren't present. So with Collins,
we weren't present. We weren't present at any of those meetings that they had because the police had wanted meeting with the pathologist and then this body meeting and then that autopsy started practically around 2 o'clock or something around the end of the day. This is the time that it started.
And that's correct. That's because Collins said that.
Okay, I'm going to let out one little piece of information. You see, he was scared because they had him in a room. Darren said to him, the police need to speak to him for whatever reason. He said he never went to autopsy before and see so much police at one place. So he was fearful then. He didn't know he was getting into that because he leave here on good faith. But when he got there, I don't know what changed. I guess the police intimidate him. I don't know what happened. And then they set the stage on the outside. So he had to run through a door and head wherever Darren Wade took him again, and then back to the airport. Darren Wade has a lot of questions to answer. Nobody's putting his credibility on the line.
Let me interject, Roxanne. Let me interject further. Let me elaborate further on that. I was told by Collins that Darren Wade took him to a group of police officers. And I'm not going to come out and say that because that is for the court. I would like Darren Wade, again, we are only looking for transparency. I would like Darren Wade to say exactly, because the mother can bear witness, Darren Wade came back, beads of perspiration, sweating. Where did he take Dr. Collins? What was said to Dr. Collins? And I will go further in saying an attorney said to myself and Sir Brian, I will not call that attorney name, that Darren Wade told him that the police officer would like to speak to Collins without him, Darren Wade. Now, Darren Wade cannot be going around and saying things as though as if this family is bashing him. If you ain't go crab dance, you know, and get your foot in mud.
Absolutely.
So now, I don't want Darren Wade to tell himself that we are just coming with wild speculations and running his mouth and running and getting people involved and getting people bashing this family. We are already going through enough as family. We want no distraction. Exactly. We're not looking for distraction.
They try
what to we're looking for. What? No, they will not distract us, because trust me, I got a song head on my shoulder.
Let us just think about this for 1 minute, objectively, right? Objectively. If they can intimidate or coerce an international doctor, if they can take somebody from the United States and they can intimidate this person and put them under such pressure that they feel they have to misrepresent and misinform and manipulate information, and they are foreign, they're not from the soil of Guyana, what do you think they can do to Darren Wade? I'm just asking this question. Is it possible that we're looking at things too simply, thinking that this one person, which is Dr. Collins, can be intimidated, can be manipulated by the police, but yet we are excluding that Darren Wade could not? Isn't it more likely that Darren Wade, being local in Guyana, can actually suffer more risks based on the fact that his family is there, he is there? I'm just asking a critical question. Because whatever it is that you suspect, we can't draw that conclusion right away to say that, listen, Darren Wade is corrupt, he was sweating. I mean, sweating is not exactly enough evidence, but it may indicate that something was wrong, there was emotional distress. We've got to look deeper to say, well, is he the only person that was emotionally distressed? If he was part and parcel of the corruption, would he be stressed out about it? Was there some kind of challenge or difficulty that took place when that confrontation happened where they wanted an interview with Dr. Collins by himself? We have to think in a wider way to wonder whether or not something else took place and maybe he himself has been silenced. This is just me throwing out potential ideas based on what I'm picking up about how the Guyanese police operate. So everybody is pointing a finger at Darren Wade, but really, maybe Darren Wade is equally a victim of the circumstance. Just a thought. Let's keep listening.
Yes, because when Collins, I placed the mother on the phone, and the Collins didn't want to speak to the mother, like he was going crazy like a ghost. Like he see a ghost or he hearing up from a ghost.
Okay.
When I bring up Dr. Todd's name, he didn't want it to speak to Dr. Todd. So I was fearful, as I'm saying to him, why you want to speak to me? As the mother gave me consent to go ahead and speak to him, I said I would have to record this conversation for my safety because this is no ordinary case. Gotcha. And I don't want nobody to say what I did not say. I let him know I'm recording the conversation as he began talking and talking and talking. I let him know when my daughter get me the recorder. I let him know as he really conscious that yes, because I'm saying I got the recorder. The samples that were brought up.
The samples that were supposed to be taken up to do some sort of test, those things are tampered. Because this man, let Angie find him. This man was right there when that autopsy was when the scan started. I think we saw him at Balwan Singh and then we saw him back at public hospital. We got information that those samples, when the report would have come back, it would not have been correct report because they would have tampered with it. And we got the two individuals and that young man. We didn't have no long meeting with Collins. The first call was when I think before they started the I was saying before they started the autopsy. After the meeting, they just give me a brief thing like, oh well, they come to do the autopsy and XYZ whatever, and then after that they went into other different meetings. But after the autopsy finished and they took us back, I don't even think he had wanted to meet back with the family to say anything. I don't know for what reason. But and that's the thing that beaten me with Collins because he said in that meeting to tell us about the autopsy and to say that Adriana drowned and keep showing me different types of fraud. And then yet still, he tell Angie that he see cotton wool in Adriana nose, right?
A piece that left.
He see a piece of cotton wool that's left in she nose. And he didn't mention that in front of me. Wade was right there. Everybody else that was there for family member, he didn't mention any of that to us. He was showing me all different types of fraud. And yet still, right now we know that he hanging on a pin. He said that piece of cotton wool went in his nose. When I keep telling that man that I saw cotton wool stuff up in my child nose.
Amisa, can you please let the audience know about the sample that came and the director? I can pull up their name for you if you'd like me to.
Oh yes, you can pull up the name because all of them were all of them is, what is his name again? Is some Amrita and
1 second, I'll try to get it.
Okay.
Except for the water sample, because Collins, even though the Guyana government stated that there were samples of the pool were taken, Collins made it clear, it's on record, everything is on record, that they had never ever dealt with any water or received any sample from the pool. When they got there, the pool was already drained. The name are Amar Danraj and Easy Associate Director of Mount Sinai, and Amrita Jaikaran, and she's the director of Mount Sinai. The mother can bear witness that Amar was in the room.
he was there.
Well, I said that to him as well. I said, you're an American citizen, you're on America's soil. No police officer cannot do you anything here. I said, the first mistake you make by telling me that you asked for 2 days in your workplace, didn't know where you went. I said, but guess where you made a mistake? You used the coat, your lab coat, with the name and the logo of your workplace. So you represented your workplace. I said, fool talk, fool and listening. I said, so what are you afraid of? Well, one of the things you're afraid of, people can get to people anywhere around this world.
But this corruption is very deep. And no pun intended. Why in goodness name would they have drained the water from the pool without a sample of the pool water being taken? And how is it that we are only just hearing that there was no pool water sample taken? So the toxicology report is falsified because there is no way they can claim that the child had drowned in the pool if there was no comparison to the actual pool water. This is like fundamental in confirming the place of death as opposed to what necessarily resulted in the death. Because nobody's saying that it's impossible that she drowned. But it is also possible that she drowned elsewhere, that other things took place with Adriana. How are we just acting so recklessly that there is no sample of the pool water? That is what you use to compare with whatever fluid might have been in her body. However, her body had been altered by the chemicals in the pool. All of that needed to have been used as a point of comparison. So for Collins to now be saying that there has been no sample taken of the pool water because the pool water was already drained is quite a serious allegation to make. And Collins does need to be brought in for formal questioning. But that's not going to happen. If there is no inquest, if there is no criminal investigation as a result of the findings, especially the conclusion of the second autopsy, then all of this that we're aware of is going to lead to nowhere. And that is exactly what the powers that be are hoping for.
We was following orders. The owner in front, he was in front with the CID at the back, and we follow, and he was opening room doors and knocking on room doors and showing you where is where and where is where, but he know where to take you, because when the police officers came, they came to protect that by business place. And persons were in that pool, swimming, and they were partying, and that by business was going on, and police was just lying after the front of that door, blocking anybody from who was out there supporting or come to try to help to search. They were there to block people from going in to that by business place to do anything, and that by was controlling his door from inside. So if you come for party there, he gonna open for you going. If you come for take a room, he gonna open for you going. We couldn't go in there until probably minutes to 12. When a police officer get called out from your bed for come and help we. So that's the thing happened, because at the time, it's only 4 persons they allow. Me, my sister, 2 friends, 4 CID, and the hotel owner. Before we go in, you are wait for he direct he show. You are wait till he ready for open the door for you go in with the CID for search. Now you tell me after all them hours with 2 big buildings, 4 persons and 4 CID, what they could search and find. When you know where you got me child, because he know where he had me child, when he got me monkey we self and opening door and whatever, he know we got she.
I'm very fair and very open and frank. I'm going to continue to bring the grandmother in and the cousin as well. Because if you take somebody's child out, you have to protect that person's child with your life. Right? And imagine you take this child out and you did not return her back. You in return did not go to both parents and say you're sorry. You in return turn around and want to bash the mother, want to bash your own son. Right? The cousin came out with lies as well before the police came out with lies. Okay, I'm going to go a little further to the police force. Now, you lost your child. The government, the highest of highest for the state, for the country, is not on your side. The police officers are not on your side. I would like anybody to tell me if the president for a country, the prime minister, the police commissioner, the police officers, nobody on your side. Now it's hard to get an attorney, but anyhow, an attorney is there. You are assumed to be on your side, and the attorney as well is not on your side. How would you feel?
Well, my people, there is so much here to unpack. I hope you have made it to the end of this episode of Hard Talk with HTK. If you're new to my channel, do not forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button. You can hear from the details that they are giving you about the actual search that there were certain things that just did not go right. Why would an owner, knowing that a child is missing, still facilitate people to be having a good time in the pool? Why would they stop people from going in to search for the children and only allow the bare minimum to do the searching in a huge place like that? Why would they stop the autopsy report from getting to Dr. Terry? Why is it that there are obstacles still being placed in front of this family to stop that criminal investigation from taking place? There is so much here, and it is still very worrying that we are still far from justice for Adriana. Far from it. But we must persevere, and we do lift that family up and hope that they persevere as well. Thank you so much for sticking with this rather long episode. Big up your nice clean self. This is your girl, Head Teacher K, and we will keep saying justice for Adriana.